What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at the last option cards from BT5. The very final cards from Battle of Omega that we've not yet looked at. Which on the one hand means that I will have then looked at every single card in the entire set. And if anyone's wondering, yes, I am very proud of myself. And on the other hand, it does mean that there are then no new Digimon cards to talk about, which makes me a little bit sad, because talking about new Digimon cards is like one of my favourite things. The good news is we know BT6 is coming and really isn't that far away. We know that there are new starter decks coming as well in the not too distant future. So, you know there's going to be more Digimon stuff to talk about. And also, right, let's be clear, we don't just look at new cards, we look at everything Digimon related. So, stick around. There's going to be plenty of Digimon to talk about. So we need to start off today then, having a look at a black option card, Ultimate Flare. Now, what we've got here is an 8-cost option card, so to be blunt, it better be good. And now as security, it activates your main effect, which is nice, so you can get the 8 for free. When you play it, you trigger De-Digivolve free on one of your opponent's Digimon. That is to say, you trash the top 3 evolution cards. So at level 7, you would trash the 7, 6, and 5. At level 5, you would trash the 5 for the 4. You wouldn't trash the 3, because remember, De-Digivolve will never let you trash down to a level 2, because level 2s do not exist in the battle area, nor will it let you delete a Digimon. Essentially, you can take it down to its lowest non-level 2 evolution stage. But after you've done that, you delete all of your opponent's Digimon with play costs of 3 or less. And on the one hand, I like this, and on the other hand, I cannot ever imagine actually putting this into a deck. 8 is very, very expensive, and we pay 8 all the time. Red players have no issue paying 8 memory to play Gaia Force. Now, we're not talking turn after turn after turn, but we absolutely are saying that 8 memory for Gaia Force to delete our opponent's biggest, baddest Digimon and put them in a hole, absolutely fine. And of course, Gaia Force is another one that we love seeing coming out to security, because then it's a 0 cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. So this is good. But here, I mean, look, if your opponent's got a, level 7, a level 5, a level 4, and a level 6 or something like that, you'll De-Digivolve the 7 down to a 4, get rid of the 7, 6, 5, leave it as a 4. But then there might be no Digimon with play costs of 3 or less. So now, of course, you turn around and go, Wassy, but you're forgetting. This is a really good counter to Rookie Rush. Those decks that play all of those rookies, and they're generally free cost or below, and you can basically just play this and delete all of them. And hey, you know what? It's cheaper than Volcanic Dramon, which is an 11 cost, and when you play it, it deletes all Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. There's not perfect crossover here, but most rookies will have a play cost of 3 or less. Most of them will have 4,000 power or less. It's not perfect, but it's largely the same thing for the purposes of this discussion, though there might be a few metagame things you need to think about here or there. The thing is, we saw a black card the other day that, as far as I'm concerned, is a way better counter to Rookie Rush. It's Mechanoramon, because it's a 6,000 power blocker, but on your opponent's turn, when you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle and survive, you unsuspend it. So against Rookie Rush, let's assume they're all 5,000 power or less, and that's a pretty fair assumption to make. They go and attack, you block them. You survive, they get deleted, you're unsuspended. And that happens every time. Your opponent can have 6 rookies on the field, and every time they attack, you're going to block them with Mechanoramon, you're going to survive, and they're not. And that's kind of my problem here. If I'm playing a black deck, I would rather just play Mechanoramon and be able to block all of these low-powered Digimon, because my free-cost Digimon, they're almost certainly going to have 3,000 power or less. So I can play an 8-cost option card to delete them, or I can just leave a 4-cost Digimon in play, knowing that I can always block them if I want to. Yes, I know that in a non-Rookie Rush deck, your opponent may well have Digimon that can delete it. I get that, but I don't think this is going to work often enough to make me want to play it. I think there are going to be far too many times where I'm just De-Digivolving free, and that's basically my lot. And I'm sorry, I'm not paying 8 memory for De-Digivolve free, and the chance to delete some Digimon that might not pan out. And if you really want to De-Digivolve, how about Giga Cannon, which is a 6 cost, but it De-Digivolves 4 rather than 3, and I know you don't get to do the deletion, but the deletion, it's a real crapshoot, ladies and gentlemen, it really is. Sometimes it's going to work absolutely beautifully, and other times it's not going to work at all, and like I say, if you really are against a deck that's playing enough of these Digimon to really take advantage of it, I'd rather have Mechanoramon. I'm giving this between 2 and 3 Wassies, because honestly, it seems expensive, and I can't imagine putting it in black decks, but as always, if you think I'm being dumb, let me know in the comment section. Just make sure you're being nice. Moving on then, we've got a couple of purple option cards to talk about, starting with Demonic Disaster. This is a 1-cost option card we like, and I like this one so much more. You may delete one of your Digimon to unsuspend one of your purple Digimon. Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, unsuspending, right? Unsuspending is huge. Unsuspending is a really, really nice skill that gives you a huge, huge advantage, because it means you get to attack again. And if you've got security attack +1, then you get to attack again, but you're taking out multiple security cards, etc. This is just brilliant. And we've got cards that unsuspend, but they're not 1-cost cards. So we got things like Atomic Ray, which will unsuspend one of your Digimon, but only if it's got blocker, and that is a 3-cost card. And that won't let you target anyone. That will only let you specifically target your Digimon with blocker, which sometimes is going to be fine, but it's not actually always going to work. Here, you just unsuspend one of your Digimon. What's the cost? Oh no! I've got to delete one of my own Digimon, but by now we should know that purple Digimon don't care, because you can delete a Tapermon and draw a card. You can delete an Impmon and trash the top 3 cards of your deck, which is quite nice. If you've got a Digimon that's Digivolved from Garuramon, then as soon as you delete, you will actually gain a memory, which essentially turns this into a 0-cost option card, which is kind of dumb good. And essentially what we've got in purple is a bunch of Digimon that have deletion skills. To be fair, we have now seen a bunch of non-purple Digimon with deletion skills, but purple still are by far the most into being deleted, shall we say. Then you got the other cards that take advantage of it. Honestly, I see this as a 5-Wossie card. I think this is a phenomenal card. And I think if you're playing a purple deck, this really needs to be in very strong consideration to be played in your deck. Making yourself active is one of the most powerful skills in the game. Gives you extra uses, extra attacks. It's brilliant. Combine that with being able to delete one of your Digimon, which not in every purple build, but in a lot of purple builds is going to be good. And you're basically giving extra attacks. You know, your opponent goes through the game going, right, 4 attacks until they win, 3 attacks until they win. Because how many security, how many blockers they've got, etc. All of a sudden, this lowers that number by 1. And bearing in mind, you can have a turn here where you play 2 or 3 of these cards at once, and your opponent goes, well, okay, he's kind of got 4 Digimon, but 3 of them are really little, so I think I'm feeling pretty good. And then you just attack 4 times with a big Digimon, and all of a sudden you've won the game. That's a little bit ridiculous. And the very last card we need to have a little bit of a look at here, the very last card from BT5 we've yet to have a chance to actually take a look at, is Earthshaker, a 6-cost option card, and that is quite expensive, but it reads, delete one of your opponent's unsuspended level 4 Digimon and one of your opponent's unsuspended level 5 Digimon. And this is brilliant. It is a card that deletes 2 of your opponent's Digimon, which is great. However, it is extremely specific. It has got to be exactly 1 level 4 and 1 level 5. There is no wiggle room here. And they've got to be unsuspended. Now, the fact that you can delete an unsuspended Digimon is clearly brilliant here. Because remember, the general rule is that you can only attack suspended Digimon. So unsuspended Digimon are generally considered quote-unquote safe. You gotta have weird things around like Rust Tyrannomon that will allow you to attack an unsuspended Digimon, for instance, or else you just cannot get to them. So giving us a card here that will allow us to delete 2 unsuspended Digimon is clearly a thing of beauty. The problem here is, if they're suspended, I actually can't go after them, and I might not have a Digimon that can delete them. If my opponent's got level 3s and 6s, they're safe. And you're asking a lot of memory for this. Now, if it comes out as a security card, it just works without having to pay, but even then, the fact that it's so specific, your opponent might not have a level 4 and 5 unsuspended Digimon. So I suppose what I'm saying here is, when this works, it's beautiful. Because remember, those level 4s and 5s probably aren't staying as 4s and 5s. They're probably getting evolved up into 6s and maybe 7s. So not only am I getting 2 of my opponent's Digimon off the field, but I am also stopping their route, so to speak, to actually getting their bigger, badder Digimon out. But then, the fact that they've got to be unsuspended, it's got to be a 4, it's got to be a 5, I'm giving it 3 Wassies. I like deleting 2 Digimon, and I'm willing to pay 6 memory for it, but the fact that it is so specific does make me worry that it's not actually going to work often enough, and I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough to put me off just a little bit. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassie Plays.